Now, keeping our home dust and hair free is really important to us. We have 3 Pomeranians and 1 poodle. You heard that right. 4 dogs running all around our home. So when the Ecovacs team reached out and said, hey, would you like to review the Deebot N8 Plus? We said absolutely yes. Now, there are 2 things that I'm looking for in a robot, and I'm sure they're the same things that you're looking for. First, I wanted a robot that would mop the floor. That's the first thing. And second, and one of the things I dread, is emptying out the little container. You know, this is just something that I just don't do. And since I reviewed so many robots that I have around the house, you can find robots that are just parked that have a full dustbin that I just haven't turned on. So I wanted something that would empty itself out. And the Deebot N8 Plus actually does it. Another feature that I was looking for a robot is a robot that had a lot of suction power. Because again, we have a lot of animals running around the house, and we also have hardwood floors as well as tile floors, and things tend to get caught within the grooves. So the Deebot N8 has a 2,300 PA suction power that's going to really pull all the stuff that my hairy little friends leave behind. And it's also, despite having that suction, it's really quiet. Now, the mopping system will remove 99% of the bacteria, and one of the things I really like is that it doesn't leave the floor wet. And it also is smart enough that if you have carpet, it will not wet the carpet, so it has a carpet sensor, so it will avoid those areas. Now, one of the things that I have, and you're going to see this in some of the video that we've taken, is that when you, let's say, mop a floor, hardwood floor specifically, if you don't do a really good job about it, you'll see streaks, you'll see spots, especially if there's dust left behind. Now, the Deebot does a really good job at this, and I see no streaks and no dust left behind. Matter of fact, that when it's running, it's one of the few robots that I've tested that actually sweep and mop at the same time. You heard that right, sweep and mop at the same time. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to check out all of the features of this robot. We're going to see something that's really a standout feature as well, is that it has laser technology that maps your home. And not only does it map your home, but it also allows you to create virtual walls. So, you know, I've had other robots where you actually take these little magnetic strips, right, and you put them in a specific area, or these cones to stop the robot from going into specific areas. Well, this robot doesn't need that. You actually have an app that once it goes to your house and it maps your house, then what you're able to do is just highlight specific areas that you just don't want the robot to go through. So you could define areas where it doesn't really cover. So for example, you know, since we have dogs in our home, I have a spot where the dogs do their business. You know, we call them the wee-wee pads. So I mark off the wee-wee pad so that, especially in the winter, because our dogs are a little special, they don't really go out that much in the winter. What we'll do is the robot will not go in that area, but it will work everywhere else. Also, I block out the area where we have the dog food so that's not tripping over the dog food or the water trays. So I mark those places off, and the robot takes care of everything. And the cool thing about this robot is at the very end of that cleaning cycle, it goes back and it empties itself out. That's a plus to me. So now let's take a closer look at the robot, and we'll also look at the container itself, so we'll see how everything works. So as we take a look at the robot, and I just wiped it down a little bit because I've been using this for the last several weeks. It's been doing a fantastic job cleaning everything around the house, and I wanted to show you not an out-of-the-box robot, but one that's actually been used, so just bear with me. So what you see here is the Ecovacs Deebot robot. A couple of things that you see here. This area right here on top, this is actually the laser area that's shooting a laser to really see your layout of your floor, and it creates like a blueprint or almost like an architectural diagram of your home. You have your power button right here, and you see that it has that true mapping technology. And again, all you literally have to do is take it to whichever part of your home, and it is going to map it. And it actually can support, you know, multiple maps, so you're not really stuck with just one map. So for example, I'm in a multi-level home, and I take the robot to the first floor, let it run, take it to the second floor, let it run, and you can save those maps, and you could also save those locations where you don't want it to cover. Now, in addition to that, if we'll open it up right here, we'll tilt this a little bit so you can see that. This is the actual area, the dustbin. And this just ran through and cleaned our bedroom and our fourth floor. This is the actual dustbin, and I'm going to take this out. Okay, we'll take it out here. And as you can see, and I'll flip this over here on camera, it is clean. It has something in here, right? It actually has, check this out, has this little wire in here, and it actually has a spring from some of the, I would say, screens, the ALR screens that we've been reviewing. So pick that up, and it's still in there, but everything else is gone, right? It also then has a filter, and you can see the filter over here. So that means that as it's picking up any of the dust or debris that it's on the floor, it's not putting it back in the air. So you don't have to worry about it. Which, by the way, the bag itself, one of the things with the old vacuums, that when you were vacuuming, dust would get spread out. So it is a HEPA filter. So it has like a HEPA filter type technology that's going to prevent any of the dust particles from coming out. So that's really good. Now here's the actual container where things go, and we're going to put this back in place and lock that in. You have a power button right here, on and off button too, so that's a master power switch in addition to the one that you have right here. And then in the event that you do get something caught, you have this little cleaning device that has a little blade and also lets you wipe things down. Now that's, again, some of the basics that you have here. Again, this is app controlled. You can control it on your phone, and I'm going to show you that in a couple seconds. Now the other thing that you have, and we'll flip this right here, is this is the cleaning area. So you notice how it has water. I have run this 3 times, I think it is now. 3 times on one tank. So it hasn't emptied out the tank yet. And again, it's going to sweep and it's going to mop at the same time. And again, as you can see here, as it's mopping, it's leaving no residue behind. But it's also not doing it to the point where as it's mopping, that it's going to leave a lot of water behind. And you can control that also with the app. So I'm going to flip this over now. And here you see, this is the microfiber towel that's there that is actually cleaning. And one of the cool things, one of the things I really like about this is that it actually goes underneath our bed. How many of you actually dust and mop underneath your bed, especially if it's a low bed? Not most of us do, right? So when you take the bed out, if you ever move, you find all this dust under there. This goes under my bed, and it mops and cleans it. And I'm telling you, it was not a nice picture when we first looked at it. So you can see this is what it's picked up. Here, this is the actual head that's actually turning, the sweeper, right? You can see it. You have the little wheels here, the charging area, right? And then you have the sweepers, right? Now, the tank on the back is something that you can remove easily. So I'm just going to take it out so you can see what the tank looks like. And this is how it looks. And then again, you can actually control how much of the water comes out, right, with this. And it's a little damp right now. But if I wanted to wash this, like I can tear this off. It has Velcro right here. Take a look at this. See the Velcro? Basically, that Velcro comes off, and then you can throw this in your washer. Now, what I've been doing is as I've been washing this, I've been putting water in here, and I've been putting some scented cleaner, some really, really nice, nothing that's soap, but just something scented, so that as it's going on the floor, it actually scents the house. But I'm doing it with something that we use in our home that doesn't leave like film or residue, because hardwood floors, if you use any kind of material like that, they get like kind of a dull look to it, and I like mine looking nice and shiny. So we're going to put this back in here. It locks in.
Mopping plate has been installed.
Okay. And it also speaks to you, so you have audible commands, like voice commands that come through it. So it knows, like when you connect the wash or the mop, it knows. It knows if it's not connected. It knows also, that you've put in this container. Now the other thing is, as it's navigating the floor, it basically doesn't really bump in as much as some of the other robots because of the LiDAR or the laser that it's using to actually see what's going on. So the other robots would just bump, bump, bump and figure things out. This one's smarter than that. It sees things, it avoids them. So if you have shoes on the floor, it will avoid them and work its way around it. Now, as you can see here, the Dustbin is pretty cool. So what ends up happening is when it goes back to the charging station, the robot goes back to the charging station, and once it lands in the charging station, it automatically cleans itself. Now, one of the things I'll warn you is that it's really loud. Well, I say really loud, especially if I have dogs, because when they hear the vacuum going, they start barking. So it goes into the area that it parks in, it knows where it's at, and then basically it empties itself out. Now, the nice thing about this is that as I change floors to floors, the remapping process is pretty fast. As soon as it comes out of the docking station, it first calculates where the charging station is, so it's not lost, and then it will clean. I've had other robots that are completely lost, right? So before they can do anything, they have to do one circuit first to map, and then they basically are able to clean. So this one does a fantastic job. Let's check out the app now. All right, so here's the app. It works both with Android and iOS, and I'm gonna go ahead and enter so I can check out the robot. And you can see the last cleaning cycle. And one of the neat things about this is that it also blocks out each area and it maps things out for you with all these different letters. So let me give you kind of a layout of what our home is like. We have what is considered a quad, right? It's 4-level home. And this area right here that you see, the purple area right there, and this is the area that it was cleaning. So this is where all our bedrooms are and our master bedroom. So the robot was going out, and then you can see all the lines right there is indicating everything that it's covered, right? And it's cleaned that place completely. Now you see that there's other levels here, and these are the other levels of the home. So it sees the other parts of the map, and it's just highlighting there. Now you have several things that you can do here. First of all, what you can do is you can look at, we'll look at the maps here. So we're going to look at this map. So here's the map that's currently in use, right? And I also can have some saved maps. We'll move that out. You also then have the ability to see, the cleaning that it's done. So 226 feet it's cleaned, and it took it around 21 minutes. You also have complete history of how much the robot has cleaned. Check this out. 2,982 square feet it's cleaned. It's been really busy in the house. It's done 12 cleanings, right? And it's actually completed 4 hours and 18 minutes worth of cleaning. So this thing has been really, really cleaning. And you can see all the activities that are right here. So this is our cleaning log. Now the other thing that you can configure is your cleaning preferences. So what we'll do is we'll go into cleaning preferences, and here you can determine how many times you want it to clean. You can also set the vacuum power as well as the water level, the water flow. I have mine at standard and at medium, and it works fine. Now the robot does have some additional settings that you can consider. We're going to go into this area here. So I'm going to do these 3 dots. And you could basically set some basic settings. So you have advanced mode, and advanced mode is going to allow you to do the customization and the multi-floor mapping that I had mentioned. You have auto boost suction on. You could do the auto empty. So in mine, as soon as it goes back to the docking station, it's going to empty itself, which is something that I want. You could do scheduling so that it automatically turns on. You could have continuous cleaning. You could also set things up for do not disturb. And then you also have this clean cloth reminder. So it's really easy, especially if the robot is running on its own, not to think about cleaning things. And we talked about, the cleanliness. And one of the things that I do is after every usage, I take off the cloth, I either hand wash it or I throw it in the washer and wash it that way, because I want to make sure that it's nice and clean for our floor. That's pretty much what we do. Now you also have in the additional settings an area that I would highlight, and that is the accessories usage. So it's telling you what's the life of the accessories so that you can replace them. So notice here our side brush is at 98, our main brush is at 99, filters at 97%, and basically it's just giving you the overall life of of all the components. Something that I would highly recommend that you monitor so that you can keep your robot running optimally. So guys, that wraps up our review of the Deebot N8 Plus. See you in the next one.